I'm going to start right now, okay?
All right.
All right, fam. Hold on. Well, here we are. We're doing a double action Sunday. Normally we do this on Saturday, but Cool was not available. We had to have Cool. Cool. Oh, good evening, Cool. What's up, man?
Niners!
Yeah. Cool is the GM of the day on Red and Gold GM. Now he's going to run down the free agents. We're about to add on the 14th or 12th to 15th. 12th to 14th is a signing period. So right now we're speculating now as to who's coming to the 49ers. Who wants to be a 49er? You and I both know, as Juice said, as he was rubbing the elbows. All pros, Pro
All
Bowlers,
pros.
guys that have just finished their rookie contract. They look like, ooh. There was a, hey, Kyle, what's up, man? You in San Francisco? Yo, man. What's it like over there, man? Hey, Kyle, do this for me, man. Put in a word with me with John Lynch, man. Tell him I'm thinking I'd like to move to Cali. And you all know I can help you, right? That's why I'm here as an all-pro. And I guarantee you, John Lynch wrote down every last name and says, hey, listen, I want you to keep this under your hat, all right? Because I'm going to contact these people, and we're going to see which one of them are serious.
Exactly.
Oh, well, Cool's here today, and he is going to be the GM. I'm going to cut him loose right now and let him run through it. And at the end of it all, if you have any questions, and during the course of the action, you can go into the Ronbo Sports app and vote for Cool. Give a thumbs up. There's a choice of the other, but don't give him that. Give a thumbs up. And also, questions will be taking place at the end of the as his presentation, as I mentioned. And you can also hashtag Q, and we'll isolate that question from the conversation in the chat. And we'll run that by Cool as well. Right? Are you ready, Cool?
I'm ready.
Jump on in there, man. We're waiting. Let's go.
All right. So I think where we need to start, you know, everybody's talking about the offensive lineman and, the opportunity to get, a really good guy who can solidify the offensive line. And we really need, the guard position solidified. And everybody's talking about Andrew Norwell, and rightfully so, because he's the best one out there on the free agent market. There's also Brian Schwinke, who plays center with the Titans, which, they can interchange. But you got to think about it. Fusco did a really good job filling in at guard this year. And I think that he deserves a right to come back. I'm not really sold on Laken Tomlinson because, he was graded very low as far as guards are concerned. So we do have opportunities and wiggle room to, I know that Norwell would probably love to come here, playing for Jimmy G. Everybody is very enthusiastic about the opportunity the 49ers have. So it shouldn't be too hard. The difference is what money can we offer this guy? So I look at, for a guard, I mean, they're making 4 years, $50 million. So somewhere in the neighborhood, I said $11, $12 million range is probably what we'll have to do to maybe lock him in. He's still young, so we can get some years out of him. And offensive linemen can last a lot longer than, the running backs, and other positions that, they carry the team. So I think we can do okay, lock him in for 5 years and see what happens. But definitely the backup plan, get Fusco re-signed. And then let's see what the kid from Stanford has. He was injured last year. Let's see what he has. Let's see what he can offer. And can he work hard enough to get into that starting lineup? And that's what you want. You want competition in all positions because it makes everybody work harder.
Agreed. Garnett.
So,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know how, what you think about linebacker, but this is where I think is
Yeah.
the strongest free agent um, area that is there. I
Yeah.
mean, the first one I would go after is Tahir Whitehead from the Lions. He's a tackling machine, and I know that Patricia now is the head coach of the Lions, and I don't know if he still will be interested in keeping this guy, but I personally, I mean, if I'm going for a linebacker and we know our linebacking situation now, we have to look at a guy like this guy just because we know he's proven he can just come in and plug in and do the job, whether Ruben is here or not. And let's face it, Ruben is probably going to do an 8-game suspension.
Oh,
So we have to plan for this. We have to plan for it. And we got to be in reality, Ronbo, we have to act like he's not coming back
oh,
this year.
yeah.
And I hate to say that, but we have to plan like he's not,
Yeah.
so that we are prepared to take on everything. And if he only gets 6 games, I mean, we'll come back with open arms, but we have to
Yeah.
plan ahead. I say, as far as a couple other guys that I would look at is Demario Davis. Um, he had an astounding year, with the Jets, outstanding. And, the Jets defense got better as the year went on. But this guy's a tackling machine, 135 tackles, plus assisted tackles. So he knows how to tackle. And I think that the big part of the defense is you can cover, but can you tackle? Can you tackle right away and keep it at a 5-yard gain instead of a 10-yard gain? So it's, you have to stop that yak, the yards after catch type of thing. So this is an opportunity to get a very solid linebacker. And then, of course, a guy who did very well the last couple of years, Zach Brown of the Redskins. He was a tackling machine also. And the Redskins, they went through a lot. I mean, they played really well at times, and then they kind of melted down. So, but their defense was pretty solid up front. Their front 7 was pretty solid. So I will say that this is an opportunity to get these 3 guys. I don't think you could go wrong with getting any one of these 3. So this is an opportunity.
Cool. That's so funny because I didn't even notice those guys on the list. That's a pretty good find. Are they cap casualties or something? Because they sound like 125 tackles for that Jets linebacker. 125 tackles, and they're letting him run.
Well, they're trying to put all their money into Kirk Cousins, and I'm pretty sure that they do have a lot of cap room, pretty decent amount of cap room, along with Cleveland. So, but that's going to take up a big chunk. And then, of course, what is going to happen with Muhammad? I'm sure they're going to probably want to re-sign him, but they've got a lot of issues that within their roster. So, this is an opportunity for him to walk, and I'm sure that. The mentality of the Jets was not very strong the last couple of years. So I see this is a good opportunity for him to come and, help a team on the upward to win. And
absolutely.
Zach Brown is fast. And I think you can't go wrong with any of these 3, but personally, I would go with Tahir Whitehead is the guy I would be chasing.
Yeah, all right. Detroit's got a lot of defensive problems. I mean, Ziggy Ansah, and now this guy, I didn't even know about this guy. And all these people are on the edge of leaving. This is pretty special. All right. They could come to, I'd love to see him get a look. All right. Go ahead, continue.
All right. Well, and cornerback. Now, this is one of the positions that we have to get. I think we do need to have a very solid veteran on the other side of Witherspoon.
Yes.
So Kyle Fuller would be probably the best fit for this defense, and he's rock solid. Malcolm Butler, everybody talks about. He would be a great fit for this defense. One person nobody's talking, or 2 people that nobody's talking about, is Patrick Robinson from the Eagles. Of course, he's just coming off the Super Bowl win.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And Aaron Colvin. I think, with those three guys, you know, because everybody's going to look at Tremaine Johnson as the one to go for. And maybe the 49ers are not going to want to give this guy like $15-16 million. And maybe they thinking, okay, we have to spend wisely, but we need to get more opportunity or get more players around our defense. So Tremaine Johnson, in theory, would be good, but on the outside looking in, I think that Patrick Robinson is solid. Aaron Colvin is solid. And Kyle Fuller is solid. And, you got to go for – you can't just spend all your money at one time. So I think that Kyle Fuller would be a lot less than Tremaine Johnson. And then you got guys that can play. Patrick Robinson is the Super Bowl champion. So why not think about trying to go for a guy like that? He knows how to win.
Cool.
Show him how to win.
How tall is Patrick Robinson?
He's 6'1".
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let me hear some more.
And then, as far as wide receiver, I don't think it has to take a major overhaul for us. And I think that the key to getting a very good wide receiver is I don't think we need much of a possession receiver as we need a deep threat. We need somebody to go along with what we have, in Marcus. And so I think Paul Richardson would be a guy that he's a deep threat. And last year was a pretty good year for him until he got hurt. But is he fully healed, from his ACL? We don't know. That's something that they'll have to bring him in and have a doctor check him out if they're thinking about all that. A safe bet, and somebody that Shanahan knows very well, is Taylor Gabriel from the Atlanta Falcons. He'd be a guy that, Shanahan knows a lot about, and I can see him probably leaning towards a guy that he's worked with, just because it's a comfort zone. And when you have somebody you've worked with, you understand that person, and he understands what you want. And I think that could be a situation where it would really work out well. I personally would not go after Jarvis Landry in a trade, just because he's more of a possession receiver. We need somebody to knock it out of the park. And this is where I kind of have to get everybody thinking about. And a couple of days ago, the Steelers said that Martavius Bryant is he's up there if you want to trade for him. And I know that before everybody says no, listen, this guy has some talent. He has some talent. And I think that you really have to really dig deep and think of what he could bring to your team. Of course, I would put in his contracts all the, things that, could basically void out the contract. But
and cool. That's why I'm saying. You know what? There needs to be a new profession in the NFL. You need to be able to deal with personalities. What kind of guy can come in? If I had the kind of doctor that I had on my staff, and I didn't disguise him as a coach, I would bring in Martavius Bryant, and I would bring in Marcus Taylor or Marcus Peters. And I would feel no problem at all, because this guy's going to be able to deal with their minds and put them on the right step. Because Martavis, does he scare you at all, though?
What, on a personal level?
Yeah, I mean, if you put him on your team, would you be able to sleep at night? I mean, if you're Kyle Shanahan, would you be able to sleep at night knowing that Martavis is like somewhere out there about to do something that's going to hurt my team? I'm just wanting to run that by you real quick.
No, Ronbo. You know what 49ers need to do is they need to bring back Harry Edwards, who is the big. He's. I don't know if you know about Harry Edwards, really big, but
Dr.
he
Harry Edwards
is a college professor from Cal.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And he's able to talk to these young men. And I know that before he was with the 49ers and He kind of gave a lot of guidance to a lot of younger players. We need to bring him in. Need to bring him in, not just for Martavius Bryant, so to speak, but we need to bring him in and we need to talk to all these guys. Ruben Foster needs to be there. Harry Edwards has a big um, following, and he can talk to you and he can get into the brain of some of these younger players. And I think that if you bring him in and actually get these guys' minds right, they're going to be fine.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it takes a guy with so much knowledge and so much people, so much that a player is going to respect.
There it is, right
And
there. There's the bottom line.
and it's all about the respect factor. So I think that's the number. If I'm Jed right now, I'm making a call to Harry Edwards, regardless of all the troubles going on with Ruben.
That's
We
what I'm
need to
getting ready
get
to
him
say.
in here,
Get him to
and
talk.
we need to have him talk.
Exactly. So if you got Reuben Foster, Marcus Peters, Martavis Bryant on the same team, this is like, whoa, God! And they start hanging out with each other and plotting. My imagination would start running wild. They're plotting to disrupt my locker room. So this is the thing. God, that scared me to death. But yeah, I just wanted to interject that for a moment and see what your feeling was. Okay.
But I do think Martavius has some talent, and I think that, and from what I've read, he wants to win.
Yeah.
He wants to play, and he wants to win. And if somebody's telling me or making me feel like I want to be here and I want to win and I want to do everything I can to make this team better, I see that's a winning attitude.
Yeah.
And we need that. We need as much as we can get from these players coming in. We need them to be what we call in the house.
Yes.
You have to be in the house. So I think he'd be an excellent pickup if you could get him. I think right now they'll probably take a 4th-round pick just to
Get
just
him
to
out.
give them to us.
I know because they want to get. Can you imagine Le'Veon Bell and Martavis? I mean, what's his name's got to be losing his mind. Man, what am I going to do with these dudes? They don't want to. They can't just come out and win games. They got to cause all this other little stuff going round and round and round. They won't stop talking to the media. Le'Veon, they tagged me this year. I'm gonna retire. Oh, Le'Veon, man, what are you saying? And then there's Martavis. Well, if y'all go draft him, you don't need me. Martavis, we're trying to win ball games, man. He's here to help you, man. Divitude is running amok in the NFL, and it's scaring me, man. We don't have none yet, so I'm just glad. So
Right. So I think with Martavius, they got Juju Smith, and so they're if he can beat him out in camp, it's not going to happen. They're so high on Juju that they're not even going to give him an opportunity to go head up and beat him in camp. So I see him being traded, and this is where John Lynch has to get on the phone and say, let's make a deal and make it happen, because I think that he'll bring a lot. One player we forgot to talk about, and who I thought was outstanding this year was rookie Kendrick Bourne. I love this guy.
Yeah,
he's a go-getter. He's an excellent paper player, and he actually could be the man 2 or 3 years from now.
Maybe
because
next year.
He has the talent. Yeah. He has the talent, and he wants to play. He wants to win. I think he's the future of after Garcon is gone. I think he's the future of our 49ers. So I'm feeling good about it. And as far as going from wide receiver to tight end, I know we had talked about it briefly, but tight end is kind of tough. Either you want a guy like Jimmy Graham, which he is getting up in age, but he still can be very productive. And right now, we haven't had somebody as productive in years since maybe Brent Jones at tight end. So I think that he's got to be the quarterback's best friend. Now, Kittle showed a lot of that this year as a rookie. And so I'm very excited that, we got a young guy who is very inspirational and is there to do a good job. But I think we need to get a veteran in here like Jimmy Graham or even Julius Thomas could be a guy that could be available this week, and we could roll the dice on a guy like that because he's a proven commodity. I mean, the last couple of years he hasn't played as well, but when he was with the Broncos, he was, him and Demarius Thomas, those guys were killing it. So I think he still has a lot in him, and I'm sure he'll love to come back to California and play where his parents can come to the games and watch. So I'm sure there's an opportunity, you know, for somebody, to come in, an experienced guy playing tight end.
Sounds good to me.
Oh yeah, and um, as far as running backs, there's not a lot. I'm not really sold on a lot of running backs out here because it has to be some guys that fit our system. And the only one that really stands out that I think will fit the Shanahan system is Isaiah Crowell for the Browns. I think he was totally unutilized last year, last couple of years, because I know I know he has 1,000 yards in him, but they didn't use him a lot. And they also had a lot of chaos, on their offense
it's
with
the
the
Browns,
changing
right?
of the quarterbacks and the wide receiver where Josh comes in at the end of the year and plays,
Yeah.
and so I think it's been total chaos for the couple of years that he's been there. So I think he'd be a welcome addition to the Niners. And you might want to laugh about this, but I would love to see Frank Gore come back. And only reason why I'm saying is I'm a hardcore Frank Gore fan, and I know he's been productive. I mean, he's very close to getting. He's got what 15,000 yards, something
Yeah,
like that. So
he
he
only needs a
still
few
has,
more. Yeah. I
yeah,
think number
he
4 on
still
the
has
list.
some in the tank.
Yeah.
He still has something in the tank. And if we build up and beef up that offensive line, I'm sure we can see Frankie do his magic like he did in the past. As far as other guys out there, that I don't know if they'll fit our system. It looks good on paper though. LeGarrette Blunt, I mean, he basically
Ooh.
will try to run over people.
Yeah.
But we had that with Carlos Hyde, and that's another thing. I mean, I don't think the Niners really are going to make any kind of. I don't think they're really going to go after Carlos Hyde unless the price is right. So I think that they're going to see who's going to offer him big money. Now, there's a couple teams that probably be willing to give him big money, but I think the 49ers are going to have a wait and see type of attitude on him and see what his status will be. I mean, um, what is a guy like that really worth on the market? Is he worth 5 years, 25 million? I don't know. I mean, we don't really know because for one, he's been hurt a lot. Last year was probably the most productive he's been because he hasn't been hurt. But then, you know, maybe they're ready to move on from that and see what Joe Williams has. And we already know what that breeder brings. I'll tell you, there's some rock solid running backs in the draft. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm thinking that they're probably not going to resign him. They're going to go with Breda. Maybe they'll take a chance on a guy named Chris Ivory that just got let go. Maybe they'll bring him in as competition for Matt Breda and Joe Williams. I don't know, but the running back draft is looking pretty sweet, and there's like 3 or 4 guys I would love to have.
Ugh.
So I think they're gonna probably pass on Carlos Hyde, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it's for all the reasons you just stated too. Economically, it makes no sense. Cool. Why would I sign up? Pull up anybody when I got? I got a. All you can eat in the draft, all the way to round 4. That's why I said, we need to get over that because I know right now they ain't gonna re-sign him, and they're gonna hope he goes out and finds out a good deal. And they're gonna be really happy for him because I think they feel bad if they'd have to not bring Carlos back though. Actually, because I know they like him. I know Lynch likes him. So,
Right. I think that if you're the 49ers and you really have to think about where the money is going to be spent. You have to look at cornerback. You have to look at wide receiver maybe, but offensive lineman, and cornerback are probably the most important things that need to be sewn up, along with linebacker. Those three positions. I think that running back can be solved pretty easily. Tight end can be solved pretty easily. Um, as far as wide receiver, I think we got pretty much what we really need. I think that there are some really good receivers in the draft. So I would really go on and put all my money in a wide receiver. So, like I said, offensive lineman, a guard, linebacker, and cornerback. Corner and lineman is probably the most important thing at this time.
Agreed. All right. And cool. Does that wrap it up?
Well, I mean, the only thing else I haven't talked about would be like defensive lineman, but you already brought Ezekiel up, and
No, you can
he's
elaborate further.
probably
Yeah.
Ezekiel Ansah. He's probably the best edge rusher that's available because Demarcus Lawrence has already been franchise tagged, so I don't. I'm pretty sure that John Lynch is not going to go out there and try to give up a couple first round picks to be able to get this guy.
Ah.
Well, when you can get Ezekiel for just pay him and give him some money. Another guy that you might want to think of maybe signing, who was very very productive with the Redskins, was Trent Murphy. Um, he's a very hardcore kid. He's relentless. I think he would be a nice addition to the defensive line. And of course, we have a couple of guys that we're trying to mold uh, uh, also there. So I think that we can actually solve that in the draft, an edge rusher, because there's quite a few out there that have the opportunity to do something, and it's really too bad for Lynch, Aaron Lynch, that he had a bad couple of years because I mean when he first came out,
A
he
bad.
was relentless,
It was.
and so I don't see them re-signing him. I mean, it would have to be
Damn it.
a veteran's minimum for him to come back. I just don't see it. I see him walking. He's not the player he used to be, or he has the potential to be. So it's really unfortunate. I mean, he came out like gangbusters when he first started, and Tank Carradine again. He could be resigned, but how much are they willing to pay him? How much will he be willing to take?
Yeah.
That is the answer.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think we've covered everything that's essential for us to go and move forward and maybe get a couple key guys to bring in, and then worry about the draft and bring in some guys that can really come in and be the foundation for the next 4 or 5 years.
All right. All right. What we're doing now is let's go over let's go over. Okay. Oh, hey, give us your re-sign players. You haven't given us out yet. Players that you're going to re-sign.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about how um, Lynch has kind of treated the bulky type of players for the last couple of years, and they're trying to clean house. So I don't see them keeping too many of what bulky players are left. I don't see Carlos Hyde coming back. I don't see Aaron Lynch coming back. Um, I don't see very many players on this roster coming back, and even the ones that were on the practice squad, they're going to get a look-see, but I think they're really banking on what this draft has to offer, because I think this draft is pretty deep, and so I'm think that if they were to resign some of these players that were on the bubble, that been on and off the practice squad, they would probably have done that.
Okay,
they probably would have already done that.
True, but
so
but you know what I want to know from you? I want to know from you, Cool. You are the GM at this moment. I want to know if you tomorrow would replace John Lynch. What would your decision be?
Well, as far as my position on this, I
Absolutely.
go after I go in and talk to Kyle Fuller, Kyle Fuller's agent,
No, I'm
see
talking
where
about
he's at.
no, I'm talking about the 49er players that we have right now. Who are you going to
Oh,
re-sign?
um,
And it's strictly your decision.
I would have to say I'm gonna have to let Carlos walk just because I see that there are other options that we can keep our. For one, we have our salary cap intact for the years to come. I can get somebody coming in from college, so I think that Carlos Hyde could be replaced. I think that Aaron Lynch can be replaced. I think that Ted Kearney might be a player that I'd be probably willing to be re-signed if the money is right. um, they re-signed the guys I think that need to be here. Marsh, uh, he played very well, and he
And,
came in during the middle of the year, and he did make a difference on that defensive line. One player who I really like, and I think that, or two players, Sheldon Day. I like to see him come back. I
all right,
like to re-sign him,
that's what I was going to
and
ask you about. All right, go ahead.
Duzable, I think that we should bring him back, at least see what he has in camp, and see if there's somebody out there that could come in. And if there's somebody that come and beat him out, then true, that's true. But Sheldon Day, I think they definitely need to resign,
All right.
just because he's done the Salah system, so he knows he knows what Salah wants. He knows how to play on that defensive scheme of his. So I think that we're pretty rock solid. I think the defensive front is pretty good,
All right.
pretty rock solid. We just need somebody to put a little more pressure on the quarterback.
All right.
So,
Now,
um,
before you go, I want how about Eric Reed, Antoine Exum Jr. I know you mentioned Brandon Fusco already, but Reed and
I
yeah.
go. Oh, okay, well,
No,
yeah, you're right.
remember this
I
is
forgot about Eric Reed. I love Eric Reed.
yeah.
I think that this is where it gets really, really touchy because, you know, I would love to have Eric Reed, but I want him to come back as flexible as possible. Meaning, um, would he be willing to play outside linebacker if we need him to play outside linebacker? I would love to have him just because of his presence. I mean, he's one of the few guys left over from the Balky regime that is a true player that's worth spending money on because I think he's valuable in so many ways. He can play linebacker, he can play safety. Um, I would resign. I definitely would try to resign him. One thing that we might have, and I hate to say it in our favor, but with the kneeling on the anthem and all that, there probably is a lot of teams that might kind of sway away from him just because he created a little controversy with that. I think the only team that might go after a guy like that would be Seattle. Seattle might be the only team that might go after Eric Reed. That's why I would love to see what we can do with Eric Reed and see if there's an offer that he would be willing to accept to come back, but also be flexible within the scheme of our defense.
How about Exum Jr.? I noticed that you had an interest in him.
Yeah, so I think that he has pretty good cover skills. He has some talent, and he definitely. Right now, we only have like three cornerbacks on our roster, so we need to have at least probably another four added. So I think he's a guy that we definitely probably want to keep around because he does come in handy. We can have when there's five corners on the field, we definitely could use a guy like that to be one of our cover guys. So yes, I definitely would try to re-sign him, and he'll be cheap. He'll come cheap, so it's not like we're going to break the bank to have him come back. So that's a win-win move for the 49ers.
All right. All right. I think that's about wraps it up. Okay, let's go over again from beginning to end what our GM has done today. And remember, you can actually, if you have any questions, please bring them. Bring them. Let's see. Okay, candidates for coming in: running back Isaiah Crowell, Frank Gore, as you just heard, the whole argument behind that. Wide receiver Paul Richardson. Taylor Gabriel, Jimmy Graham at the tight end position, Julius Thomas, Andrew Norwell, of course, your offensive lineman, along with Brian Schwenke and Brandon Fusco, cornerback Tremaine Johnson, Kyle Fuller, Patrick Robinson, nice group there, linebacker Tahir Whitehead, Demario Davis, Zach Brown, all could be additions that the 49ers would be able to put to use. Also, defensive line, Ziggy Ansah, Trent Murphy. All right, those are the guys who were coolest thinking about bringing those guys in. All right, and players that will be re-signed. Cool has changed his mind on Carlos Hyde. He is not signing him as he talked himself out of it right here today. Sheldon Day will be re-signed. Leonard Duzable with all that hustle. Eric Reed, Antone Exum Jr., and Brandon Fusco will be re-signed. All right. So there you go. Let's see if Cool. Any questions here for Cool? Dolomite wants to know: do you see the 49ers drafting Aitman with one of our third-round picks?
Yeah, I mean he's a talent wide receiver, right?
Yeah,
he's a talent. He's definitely a talent. There's like 4 or 5 guys that I really love play wide receiver. So they're definitely going to draft some wide receivers, but I think that you got to go. I believe with the first pick, you got to go linebacker just because we need to make sure we have some kind of backup plan. In the second round, we probably could go for a guard, maybe the cat from Texas. The guy from Texas. We need an offensive lineman. Wide receiver, we could go. I would say the third round pick. First thing I got to do is I got to get Penny from San Diego State. I think that he's the real deal, and I think he'll last to the third round. So.
Wow.
I don't know. Aitman he'll probably go second, third round. So we'll see. But there's so much talent wide receiver and running back this year. We'll find somebody. That won't be a question.
That's true though, because you know what? I see Saquon and the 2 Georgia running backs. The biggest possibilities in the first round, right? Because Sony Michel. Saquon Barkley, and you're not going to get that many running backs in the first round. Maybe 2, possibly 3, but most likely it's going to be 2 running backs taken in the first round. Second day is when the running back feast probably starts.
Yes.
And if you're right, but Penny,
wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk is an excellent wide receiver.
Oh,
I think that's who. If you're going to go second round, that's who the 49ers should get. If they're going to spend it on a second round pick, Christian Kirk is the real deal.
Yeah. And he's Kyle's kind of guy. He's not a big guy, but
he's tall. He's tall as but he's fast.
Wait a minute.
He's super fast.
Wait a minute. Kirk? How tall is? I thought Kirk was about 5'10", 5'11".
No, he's taller than that. He's
really?
Taller than that.
Okay. Maybe I'll check because I could have swore he wasn't a really big guy, but he was definitely a guy that gets a lot of work done. So.
He scores touchdowns, and that's what matters.
Yeah, and as I say, the speed, he gets work, he gets it done. Rashard Penny showed out in the Senior Bowl, though, and I said, "Oh,
I love that guy.
Who is this guy? He's out of San Diego. Whoa!" It's
he's the real deal.
Third day, though, you're right. Some of these guys could be good late third and fourth. Some of the fines and guys that are going to fall to the third round are going to freak people out. Well, here's another question here. Razor wants to know, you're talking system fit players, but then you mentioned Graham and Thomas, which are the complete opposite. They don't block. Why not get Luke Wilson instead? That's a good question, but is Luke available? Because I've been harping on Luke Wilson.
He is. Actually, Luke Wilson is a free agent, and he hasn't caught a lot of passes, so he is more of your blocking tight end. So, the callers, he hit it right on the nose. Luke Wilson actually would be excellent for this team just because he would do what I can't remember the guys, the 82 last year. He'd do all the dirty work. Luke Wilson could catch a pass if you really need him to. But he's only caught like 11 passes last year, but he is a free agent. So
Ooh.
yeah, he would come pretty cheap. So why not?
I do. And here's the thing: Luke Wilson isn't targeted very often. He does all the dirty work. He's a blue collar player. But I notice whenever Russell decided to call his number, he delivered. I mean, cool. He kicked our butt. How many years has Luke Wilson hurt us? So I said, Luke Wilson always comes out of nowhere. Russie just dials him up when he gets tired of going to Doug Baldwin. When he gets tired of going to, what's that other speedster he's got that goes deep on us every game? The one that broke his foot last year. Anyway, he has...
Lockett.
Lockett. Tyler would kill us. Every game, one time, Tyler Lockett. Russie'd put that ball and be up there for an hour and a half. And it come right down to Tyler Lockett. And I used to pass. I said, I cannot believe we can't defend that. So, Luke Wilson. I like him a lot. I agree.
Yeah, that's excellent. Excellent name. Excellent name.
Yeah. And here's Adum Hassan. If you had only two choices, who would you draft? Michael or Jones?
Michael or Jones? You mean the running back?
Sony Michael. Ronald Jones out of SC.
Ronald Jones.
There's another guy in the first round. Ronald Jones is rated number 2 now, behind Saquon Barkley. I'd forgotten about Ronnie. Yeah.
I like Ronald Jones just a tad better, but they're both very similar. I mean, they're both very, as far as talent-wise, they're very comparable. I don't see the 49ers reaching that high for a running back, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But if Ronald Jones just happened to fall in their lap, maybe in the 3rd round, or Michael fell in the 3rd round, that might be a player that they would think of. But I don't think they're going to last past the 2nd round.
Yeah, but Cool. How about you, Cool? If it was your choice, though, you're sitting there in the big room. Are you taking as Sony Michael? 49ers are on the clock, and there's Sony Michael sitting over there. There's also Ronald Jones somehow has made it down this far as well, as they took Geis and some other guys earlier. What do you do? What are you going to do, Cool?
Well, in the 2nd round, right?
Yeah, let's go to the 2nd round.
It's something. It's really something to really take a hold of. It'd be kind of hard. I would have to go Ronald Jones on that. I would have to go Ronald Jones if I had to pick either one of those two. Of course, I think that there's other needs that need to be taken care of, ahead of time. So I would think maybe offensive linemen in the 2nd round, because there's a handful of very good offensive linemen that will slip to the 2nd round. So my priority would be, offensive linemen in the 2nd round if I can get one.
Cool. Who are you attracted to as far as an offensive lineman in the 2nd round? I went through something like this the other day. I was thinking the same thing. But in the 2nd round, though, who do you think is going to be available in the 2nd round as an offensive lineman that you think that we can form into something? Because I got to tell you, like I've been saying to everybody, I'd argue with people. So listen, you can get Quentin Nelson, you can get this guy, you can get that guy. I guarantee you, the offensive, the NFL machine is going to eat them up initially. It's going to take them a minute to adapt. Do we have time to get a 1st round, or do we have to play in the 1st round? Or do you get that kid in the 2nd round? We can bring him along, train him, let him get beaten up out there for at least a few minutes. Let him get mad, get into it. All right, now you know what you got to deal with. Can you deal with it? Because if I get that kid in the 2nd round, I could go through that with him. If he's a 1st round pick, I've spent a 1st round pick. Kid, you got to get out there and deal with it now. So go ahead. What are you thinking of that?
Well, not off the top of my head, but there is a guy named Fernandez, who is a guard. He played in the Senior Bowl. He has a lot of talent, and he'll probably slide to the 2nd round. So this might be an opportunity. He's very tenacious, and you need somebody that has that attitude, like I'm going to beat you up. And if you get that guy that you could just insert. I don't know if Joshua Garnett has that in him. I don't know if he's mean. You gotta have that mentality where you're mean. And I don't know if Joshua Garnett has that. But from everything I'm hearing about this Hernandez kid, he's got that, and that's what they need. You need to have somebody that's willing to just run over people,
Yeah.
and that's what it takes. And if I'm not going to shy away from trying to draft offensive linemen in the second round if I can get some great talent at that position. So I understand that everybody wants running back and the sure thing, whether, over the last couple of years, they had Ezekiel Elliott and this kid, Shaquan Barkley. I mean, I can understand you want a running back or somebody that you can take and that's going to be a proven commodity. But I'm telling you, we can wait till the end of the second, the third round to get a running back, and we can get more bang for our buck. I think it's got to go offensive lineman.
Second round offensive line. All right. Well, got no problem with that myself. Gohard wants to know, if I'm not mistaken, the topic of this show, Koolwhipp, is GM free agency, right? What's up with draft pick question? Like, Gohard, we're just throwing those right now because you're right. It was about free agency. So, if you got a question about free agency, we'd rather you lean toward that direction anyway. So, Gohard's bringing up a good point here. So Hal wants to know who is the better of our Leos, Ansa, Quinn, or Lawrence? Oh, I go ahead, Cool. What do you think?
Well, with Lawrence, you're going to have to give up probably too much to even get a guy like that.
Yeah.
Quinn, I don't see the Rams dealing to someone in the same division, and he's at a bargain right now at $12.5 million. So I don't see the Rams getting rid of him either. They're going to probably play out his contract, and he'll be a free agent next year.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Ansah, he's the only one that you can flat out offer him a contract right now at this point. That's not going to break the bank or break your draft choice problem that you will have if you try to trade for DeMarcus Lawrence. So, yeah, Ezekiel Ansah, you got to go with that.
Hey, cool, but you know what? Some of the things you heard about Ziggy. Now, there's been a lot of counter arguments offered right here on our chat. Ziggy Ansah, they said he's only missed 7 games in the entire time he's been throughout his rookie contract. But to hear people talk about it, well, I think the thing was that Ziggy was out there my leg, on my back, my shoulder. I think he was out there crying a lot, apparently, because it sounds like Detroit is saying, Ziggy, if you don't feel like playing, just tell us. So I'm trying to figure out what is it with Detroit being fed up with Ziggy about what? He had his 1 year, I think, what do you have, 14, 15 sacks his first or second year? And he hasn't been there since.
Right, and you got to remember, this year he got all his sacks like in bunches, and it all came like at the beginning of the year. So, he's kind of he's up and down, up and down. I think the most consistent guy that we can get, as far as consistency, that's going to put pressure and it's going to keep on like a machine, who I think is a poor man's J.J. Watt, would be Trent Murphy. Trent Murphy would be another alternative for the 49ers to go after, just because he's relentless, he's not going to complain, and he's hard-nosed. And he's one of the guys that played under Jim Harbaugh at Stanford. So he's a hard-nosed kid. That's who, in reality, if you want to talk about relentless and not complaining, and a guy who's just going to go out there and give you 110%, that's the guy you got to go for, and that's Trent Murphy.
Hey, Z, I got a question for you too. Here you go. You got let's look at our guys for a minute. You got Eric Armstead. You've also got Solomon T. And then again, you've got Cassius Marsh. And of course, Dumerville's going to come back probably for one more year, I would suggest. These guys are going to be in this system for the second year in a row. This is the first time the 49ers, in 4 years, since Fangio left, they've been through a new defensive scheme every year, which has made me lose my mind. You know the people that wanted to fire Saleh this year, get another defensive coordinator and start all over again. Do you think that starting all these systems has something to do with the fact that we don't have a pass rush worth a damn?
Yeah, it's something that we basically have to work on. I think that you're going to have to maybe incorporate a little bit more different schemes, and you're going to have to, probably alter a little bit of the schemes that you have. Maybe you bring up a corner up to play real tight and have him come in and do the blitz. I mean, they're going to have to be a little bit more creative if they want this defense to work. And I think that if you get some really solid corners, if whoever we get in, for our corner on the other side of Witherspoon, we do have pretty decent safeties, and I think that you're going to have to get creative and blitz from different all sides of the field. You got to, because you have to have schemes but not be as predictable on how you're coming.
So you're saying you're not going to trust the guys that I just mentioned. You're going to go ahead and start scheming up pretty and bringing guys in that can go out and take that quarterback out. It's disguise. I call that a disguise defense, where they don't know where the edge rush is coming from. This is why I ask you, do you think that Solomon T and my two biggest candidates who just may be able to evolve and emerge off that edge, I still think it might be Armstead and it might be Solomon T. But he has to get there's a couple of things he's not doing right, but I think he's got the speed to be able to do it. What do you think?
Well, I think it's really hard. Armstead, I was thinking that we would get a lot more out of this guy. This is year 3. Year 3, you would expect this guy to produce more than he has. Yeah. I mean, Solomon Thomas, I'm going to give him a pass. He was a rookie last year. I still think that the best is yet to come with this young man. But as far as Armstead, he better be very productive this year, because if it's this year or bust. If he does not come through and be the player that they expect him to be, then he'll be gone next year. Yeah. Because you have to prove that you can belong. And that guy is a big guy, man. Trust me, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's huge.
I think he should be, more along than he should be exactly what Buckner is on the other side.
But remember,
Buckner solidifies the inside. Armstead should be solidifying that outside. They should both be monsters at that position. And only Buckner is proven and shown that he is living up to his his status.
Okay, but remember, you're playing him out of position, and Buckner's pretty much being Buckner. He's playing on the inside. This is where he's always been. I'm wondering if he gets a second shot, maybe it just takes him a little while to adapt to that. In fact, Salah was saying he was starting to get it before he broke his hand. If you leave him there for a second year in a row, out there on the edge, I wonder if he'd get it. And he's got a new coach now that's going to make him crazy, in Chris Kiffin. So I'm expecting, okay, if we fail to land this super guy off the edge, could it be Eric or could it be Solomon T with Chris Kiffin showing them what they're doing wrong, help them get into the groove? But I still like, for that reason, I think Eric Armstead, if you get Chris Kiffin and him together, get the technique right, I think he may have the speed to be that Leo. Wouldn't that be shocking, though? Because as I say, second year in a row.
We have to see. The proof is in the pudding. So I think it's there, but let's get it out of him. And like you said, we're going to have a dedicated pass rush specialist this year, which could make a big difference. Because coaching, everybody has their own way of coaching. And this is going to be a new way of coaching. This is going to be, his stamp on the defensive line. So let's see what happens. Okay. But I think that for Armstead, it's this year or bust. He's got to do it. He's got to produce. He's got to be productive.
I like that. All right. Go hard question. Now, wait, I'm trying to understand how this question relates. Cooler than the other side of the pillow. What game you bringing us out in them alternate jerseys, and which style you rolling with, throwback or new all black top? There you go. Hey, I like that question, though.
I like the all black. I'm sorry. I like the all black. But I am a traditionalist. I've been watching the 49ers since 1971. So I do I like the tradition of the red and gold, or what they call back then was red and or scarlet or whatever it
Yeah, I know
was.
they keep
But
trying to move
I
the
love the
red.
new look. They're all black. It seems like they play harder in the all black. So
Yeah,
let's do
strange,
it.
strange. Hey, and you notice Marquise Goodwin is out there. He's out campaigning for all because Marquise Goodwin loves to be wearing white for some reason. Marquise Goodwin he's campaigning for an all white all jersey. What do you think about that?
You know what? I mean, if he, you know what, players, you got to remember, players are very superstitious, so to
Yes.
speak. They're superstitious. Like they'll play on the same shirt underneath their shoulder pads
All year
every
long.
game.
Yeah,
I
smelling like
mean, they eat
dinosaur
a
meat.
certain food before the game. A lot of it is superstition. So but you know what? If Marquise can get 3 or 4 touchdowns a game in all white, I'm all for it.
And what's going to be your alt game? I mean, which game are you going to select for that?
Oh, let's do the Raider game. Let's do the
Oh,
49er Raider game.
oh, Raiders will be so. Oh man, 49ers think they go antagonize by wearing black. They know damn
That's
well
right.
that's our
I'm
colors.
ready for that.
Ooh, I like that choice so much. Good, good, good. And especially if it's a night game,
Right.
it's gonna be some fighting in the
Let the whole
stands.
national audience see it.
Yeah,
We're gonna take care of them Raiders.
Oh yeah, and put the
We're
camera in the
gonna take care of
stands.
them.
So when they see who starts acting a fool, make sure the camera's on that Raider, man, because I know that's gonna start to crap that night. Oh, and Razor, here's another question from Razor: are you signing Deshaun for receiver? Deshaun who? Deshaun. Oh, what? Watson? Deshaun Jackson. Hey,
Oh, he's
hey,
not a free
hey!
agent.
Is Deshaun? Yeah, is Deshaun a free agent now?
He's not a free agent. At least I don't know unless he got cut or got relieved of his contract. With the last 2 or 3 days. I didn't see him on the list.
Yeah, hey, Razor, let me know, man, because I don't know that Deshaun Jackson is available, and that's the only Deshaun I know we're talking about as far as a receiver. Dolan Knight said, who would you rather sign, Malcolm Butler, Patrick Robinson, or Hey, I was wondering about this. You mentioned Malcolm Butler earlier. Does Malcolm Butler fit the scheme, though, Mr. GM?
You know what? I'm going to go against the grain because I know how New England players are.
Yeah.
Once you leave New England, how productive are you really? I'm going to go Patrick Robinson because I know what. See, Malcolm Butler, I can assure you, is going to probably go to the Lions. And just for that fact that he's going to have a coach that knows him, knows how he plays.
Yeah.
Matt Patricia is going to make sure that he gets on the phone and calls his agent, and we're going to get Malcolm Butler to Detroit. I see that happening right now. It's only a matter of time. So Patrick Robinson, I see Patrick Robinson is the alternative. It's not Kyle Fuller or Aaron Colvin or even EJ Gaines could be available. So there are some pretty decent corners out there, but I don't see a Malcolm Butler coming to 49ers. I don't see it.
All right. And Dolan, I ask, do you think Teddy Bridgewater or... I'm going to get the rest of the question here. Okay, that is a good question. All right, do you think Teddy Bridgewater or Sam Bradford would be good signings to back... Would they be good signings to back up Jimmy G? And then that's to automatically assume that neither one of them can hold Jimmy G's jock. I love this question.
You know what? That is not going to happen. I mean, if anybody comes here between those two, be Bridgewater. We know the track record with Bradford.
Yeah.
He doesn't sign for anything less than $15 million, and
with his fragile,
he gets hurt all the time.
Every time.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I like C.J. Beathard as a good backup.
Yeah.
But there's also some very good quarterbacks that we could get, late in the draft, or even a free agent, undrafted free agent. So I see that that's not going to happen. Their focus more is on the core of what the team needs, and the core is corner, offensive lineman, and linebacker. That's the core. That's those are the priorities, and that comes first. I don't see them spending millions of dollars on a backup quarterback. It's not going to happen.
Man, this is going to affect. It's going to affect a lot of things, though. What happens between Nick Foles, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Bradford? Isn't there another one out there too? You already know what Kirk Cousins is going to be. They got Alex Smith out of the mix already, but that's going to really affect what happens to our pick this year, and that's what really bothers me. How in Case Keenum is not promised to go to Minnesota, so I really this situation this year with no drafting, and I don't know, maybe the first round you do see Rosen, but it better not be Cleveland because I understand Rosen if they in the first pick of the 2018 draft, the Cleveland Browns select Josh Rosen, quarterback, UCLA. And Josh Rosen says, whoa, stop clapping, because wipes his mouth, throws his napkin. I'm out of here, man. I told you people I wasn't going to play for the Browns, And see, this is going to cause...
He's gonna do a John Elway / Eli Manning thing where he holds out the trade. I can see that happening. It could.
He made it clear. So, that's going to really... It's going to be really interesting to see free agents versus draft picks. What are these teams going to do? I can't wait. Oh, here's Rhodes Matheson says, Koolwhipp, who are we going to draft to replace C.J. Beathard? Guys, Koolwhipp just explained to you. He's not getting rid of C.J. Beathard. Well, go ahead and explain it again. GM.
No, we're not getting rid of C.J. Beathard. I mean, he's proven that he's tough enough to come in a pinch. And so I like that. I like his tenacity. I like the way that he can take a hit. Of course, he has a lot to learn, and you have a very good quarterback to learn under. He didn't really have that in his rookie year to be able to learn something. Hoyer's not going to teach you what you really need to know.
Other than how to run.
Right, and the best teaching for him is to watch Jimmy G. Carry that clipboard. Was Jimmy G for the next year or two, and then you'll see it's a way that you go about things. It's a way that his reads. It's everything. C.J. Beathard was just thrown into there just to keep everything warm for whoever the next quarterback was. And now we got our quarterback, and C.J. is going to still be there. He's just going to learn the way it needs to be done and done properly. So, I'm telling you, Jimmy G is going to teach him how to be a quarterback.
In fact, I can't wait to see what looks like in preseason this year, because I wonder how much CJ's already learned from watching. Because you know what, you don't need to take those kind of beatings and killings. You need a sensitivity though, which we seen in that first game when Jimmy G was running out there. Here comes Michael Bennett and his boys. Boy, they was coming to kill them some Jimmy G, and G just didn't even look at him. He floats to his left. They're still running like gangbusters trying to kill him. He keeps floating. Lewis Murphy finally finds a spot open. Jimmy G dead. And Michael Bennett was, oh, no. He got rid of the ball, man. These are the things that I want to see CJ do. You don't need to stand there and get your brains beat out. We don't need to be... You don't have to demonstrate toughness in that way. I want to see him start doing that next season. And maybe we'll see that in preseason, I'm hoping.
Jimmy G reminds me so much of Joe Montana.
I know.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Making people like fools.
You're watching Joe Montana for all these years. I mean, Jimmy G is so cool, and it doesn't really bother him. I mean, he just goes out there and plays. You know, and that's somebody who's very confident, but he doesn't let things bother him. Ever. And I like that. I mean. That's if you get anything out of it, and what CJ needs to get out of it, just watch his mannerisms and how he goes about quarterbacking his team, because that's what you need to learn. That's what you need to bring in, and if you learn all that and learn the way he goes about it, he's going to be so much better, and we won't miss a beat if something happens to Jimmy G. Yeah. So take in all you can.
Yeah. Let me. Here's another question for you. Let me give a shout out this thing. Ferocious? Oh, it's ferocious. You let me go with them consonants and vowels all tied up there. Ferocious. Ferocious film. The question is, would you trade Mr. GM for Dez Bryant?
Wow. All right. We're going to go back to what I was talking about earlier. Where is Harry Edwards? What's Harry Edwards' phone number? Let me call Harry Edwards. Let me get Harry Edwards on my payroll.
Yeah.
And he's going to go through each and every person on the roster and each and every person that comes into that office looking for a job. We want to get into the mentality of who is going to be a 49er. Harry Edwards is going to be the guy that if Harry Edwards says no, it ain't going to happen. We're going to have to rely on Harry Edwards to be able to get into this guy's mind. Yeah. Now, Dez Bryant is a talent. Don't get me wrong. He's a talent. But you have to go and get what's inside of him and find out what's really making him tick. If he can pass all the scenarios that it's going to take to be a 49er, then I say let's go for it. But I need to make sure that this is the place for him. This is the place where he wants to be. Can he be productive? But I'm sure he would love to play with Jimmy G. I'm almost positive he would love to play with Jimmy G.
He would.
Because who wouldn't want to play with Jimmy G?
Because he's had enough back.
Bringing Harry Edwards though, it's got to happen.
Yeah, you know what though, Zeke is going to have to. There is going to be a decision made on Zeke, and I got a feeling you're going to be able to get him without. So let's go to Greg Canada. Should we extend Buckner right now? Don't wait.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it now. Right. Definitely, he's a proven player. He's played 2 years, and he's been very productive. In actuality, he's probably one of the highest rated. He's either one or number 2 highest rated defensive tackles in right now this last year. Mm-hmm. I definitely would go to Buckner now and pay him, extend him now, because when it comes out to that contract year after year 4, you're going to probably pay him a lot more. Yep. Let's go in. Let's pay him, offer him a longer contract, give him some bonus money, and let's pay him and let's get him locked in for another 5 or 6 years.
And be smart enough that he doesn't say no.
Because you're going to save money in the long run if you do it now.
There you go. Yeah, we got plenty of questions. Hold on, I'm gonna give you brief answers on this. Oh, hey, by the way, I want to say shout out to Scott here. Scott, thank you, appreciate it, man. Thank you, fam. All right, World Done Logan wants to know, how about Rashard Breeland? I thought you mentioned him earlier. Did you mention him earlier, Rashard Breeland?
Oh, for the Redskins.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fairly decent player, but if I'm going to deal with anybody from the Redskins, I would like to make that trade for Josh Norman, because I think that he has more to bring to the table, and I think that if you bring, let's just make it flat out. Let's just start from scratch here. If I get Josh Norman to come in and play cornerback for the San Francisco 49ers, I think that if we could do that, I think we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Because I don't think the Redskins use him right. You know what? In fact, when they wouldn't let him cover the opposing team's best wide receiver, automatically I realized, okay, you Redskins don't know what they're doing, do they? Because I don't care who we're playing, Witherspoon plays opposite of wherever we're playing Josh. If Josh says, oh, yeah, we playing the Cowboys, you know who I want, don't you? And he don't want me to want him either. So, that's where it is. That's what I would do every game. I like that. All right. Let me get that next question because they're rolling in now. There's Greg Kennedy. Okay, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna save the draft questions for last, guys. I got a lot of draft questions, guys. What would be your ideal start? Okay, Michael says, what would be your ideal starting offensive line? How many would you get via draft, and now how many via free agency? Now that's a good question. Experience versus hopefulness. Yeah, right now you have to lean on veterans right now, and bringing back Fusco really helps out. Their offensive line, because, like I said, Joshua and Garnett, we don't know what we're going to get. I mean, they told him when he came to camp he was way overweight,
He wasn't ready to compete. And this is the NFL. This is not college. You have to take it serious. You got to come to play because these guys are coming. They're coming for you. So you got to have a very good veteran offensive lineman. And right now, Joshua Garnett is behind the eight ball, and so hopefully we can get him up to speed. As far as what's out there in the draft, there are some fairly decent players that can help, that can really help us. So the draft is a secondary, but yeah, let's go get Fusco. But I would go ahead and break the bank. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do 5 years, 60 million for Norwell. Now you think he would buy on that? I think he would. Give him more bonus money up front, which we do have the capability.
What'd you guarantee?
Probably more than anybody else.
What would you guarantee him, Cool?
I would say, with the 60 million, I guarantee him 35.
All right. He should take that.
Yeah, because it's not the contract itself. It's not the 35. It's not the 5 year, $60 million. It's the bonus money. It's the money that you're guaranteed. Because anybody can get their cut after the third year. I'm like, hey, we're gonna let you go.
Yeah.
Or you're. Yeah. So the bonus money is what the big picture is, and that's what every agent is looking for. If I can give my agent 35 million straight up signing bonus, hey, we're going to do that because that's just money in my pocket too. Yeah. So I'm sure he's going to have somebody who can negotiate and get that money. I'm sure he will.
Yeah. And with Norwell's track record, 35 is fair. And actually, after he extended 40, with the way some people are, there's a threat, from what I understand, in Cleveland, or wherever it is that Kirk Cousins is going, of a fully guaranteed contract. I don't think the rest of the league's owners are gonna sit well with that, but it's gonna be interesting if they try to pull that off. Cool. Let me get to the next question though. Goards here. If someone reaches out, if somebody reaches out for Jimmy Ward, what's the deal you would want to? Would you make that happen?
With the way they look at safety, and I think that, all right, this is what I look at it. If I can re-sign Eric Reed, I'm definitely letting Jimmy go because, for one, he's a talent, but when you're hurt all the time, and I'm not saying he had some bad breaks where things are just that happen, but when you're often injured like that, it's probably just the way you play. I don't think he's more of a corner than he is a safety, just because he has pretty good coverage skills. I would definitely see if we could get him, and we could probably get a 3rd-round pick, 4th-round pick for him. I think that's doable.
3rd or 4th round pick. I got to tell you, Cool, I would take a 3rd or 4th round pick because, as you say, Jimmy, when he's on the field, kid can play, but he won't be on the field. I don't care. I don't. I really like Jimmy Ward, but I just can't imagine if he goes another year and he spends half the season with something broken. And these are things that have nothing to do with players. That means he's just one of those bad luck guys. Cool. Nobody hurts Jimmy. Jimmy hurts Jimmy. Let's get the next little question because you're rolling in now. Dustin Mayer wants to know. He pretty much answered that. Dustin, yes. Our GM loves Frank Gore, and he would bring him back in a heartbeat. Am I right on that? Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right.
I definitely would do that. That's one of the few guys that, for sure, I would bring back. I would even bring back for a 1-year deal would be Navarro Bowman if I had to bring him back, just for anything, a mentoring type of deal where, hey, I'm going to teach, I'm going to preach, I'm going to give Reuben Foster all he needs to know about life outside of football too. Yeah. So he would be a guy I would bring back if I can have him mentor Reuben Foster. Because let's face it, I know Reuben's had a lot of hard problems like in his life, before, growing up. Yeah. But we need to get into that young man's head and be able to tell him, hey, we're here for you. We want to be able to have somebody to help you, get you through all these things, and teach you the right way, not just to play football, but how to treat life in general.
There you
So
go.
he needs a
That
mentor,
mentorship.
a mentor. So,
Look,
like I said, that's another thing. I'm getting on the phone. I'm calling Harry Edwards.
you do like Harry Rodgers. Let's go
I
to
love Harry Edwards.
Greg Kennedy. Greg wants to know: should we sign Bruce Irvin if he's cut by the Raiders? I understand that's a possibility too.
I love Bruce Irvin. I mean, I remember all these years he used to terrorize us when he was with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, he is on. There's a chance that he could be a cap casualty because right now the Raiders are about to be redone and reformulated. They might be somebody interested in Jimmy Ward also. So and Eric Reed. So yeah,
Oh.
there's going to be a lot of transitions between
Oh.
the Raiders, and I can see if Irvin is available. Yeah, I'd throw him some money.
Yeah. That would. Yeah. How old is Bruce now? He must be in his.
Oh, he's about 28, 27, 28.
All right. Uh, Psycho. Okay. Anyway. Psycho. Oh, Psycho Sid's on the phone. I didn't know what's going on. We got the phone. Psycho Sid, come on in, man. I didn't know you were hanging on the phone. Let's go.
What's up, Ronbo?
Psycho Sid, you, man. Good to hear from you.
I'm good. I saw that you finally posted something regarding Holden Hill on your website. I really enjoyed that, Ronbo.
Ah, there you go, man. I'm telling you, I can find these guys. Well, Psycho, you got a question for a GM?
I do.
Yeah.
It's more about along the running back thing, but what's your opinion on Isaiah Crowell versus, let's say, Dion Lewis or, let's say, Carlos Hyde? Out of that three group, I think we're going to go after one of them. Which one do you think fits the best?
All right, Sid.
You know what? I definitely think, and I know the way Shanahan, how he thinks about, his system and people who are going to work within his system. Isaiah Crowell I think, is definitely the player that they're going to target, just because he knows the system. Shanahan has coached him for a couple of years. He knows what he's capable of doing. Cleveland did not utilize Crowell very well at all, because guy has so much more potential than what was out on the field. I mean, the guy, I think he's capable every year of getting 1,000 yards. He hasn't hit 1,000 yards, I think, since like the first year, I think it was. But this year he was almost invisible. They left him out there and not trying to. They knew he was in a contract year, and they're not even trying to help him make his status more available. I think he can come rather cheaply, just because his numbers are not that great, but he fits the system very well, and I think that's who they're going to go for. As far as Dion Lewis, again, we're talking about New England, and a New England player, and I think like their system, they have players that come in and fit their system. Now, I'm not disregarding the talent that guy got. He can definitely catch the ball out of the backfield. He does a lot, for that offense. But I think the safest pick, if for one, Crowell's going to be a little less expensive than Dion Lewis. So if I'm going shopping, I'm going to be able to spend wisely. I'm going to go Crowell over Dion Lewis.
All right. There you go. Yeah. And by the way, Psycho Sid, I just realized, weren't you the one who suggested Hurst to me the other day or last week?
I was, Ronbo.
Yeah, I thought that was
the
you.
one that said Isaiah Crowell will be our starting running back week 1.
Yeah,
he's only 25. I think that's another aspect that people forget. He's only 25.
And it's
he
for
was
the
out,
rookie contract.
For a long time.
Yeah.
They used Duke Johnson a lot last year.
Right.
I guess because they wanted to throw the ball more. And
Right.
I guess he's a more sure receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah.
But still, Isaiah Crowell is only 25 and had his best year, his rookie year with Kyle Shanahan.
There you go. Sid, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to see you. We're going to have another fan gathering meeting in just a little bit. I'll look for you then, okay? Thanks, Sid.
All right.
All right. All right, and here's a question that I had to laugh because where's that question? There is the one with the including. Oh, where's Talib? Okay, well, until we find that. Okay, let me get the next question then, wherever it is. All right. Okay, that's a draft question. Let's get the free agent question first. Yeah, we got Frank Gore, Quentin Nelson. Okay, George Ortiz was what are the starting linebackers to begin the season?
All right, the way it's looking right now, and we got to think that Reuben Foster won't be there. I'm looking at Malcolm. Malcolm is in the middle, so to speak.
He did it.
Outside, Malcolm Smith in the middle. Outside linebacker. I think this is what I think is going to happen. I think the 49ers are going to draft Eubanks for Virginia Tech. Eubanks. They're going to draft him. He'll be one of the outside linebackers. And we'll see where, as far as can we get Eric Reed to play on the other side. Other than that, I don't see Brock Coyle coming back because, he's going to have to pass some tests where he was injured. He's already had surgery, and he's going to be out for another about 4 months or so, 5 months.
Yeah.
So is he going to be, totally prepared to come back and play? I don't know.
Yeah.
So you got to look elsewhere for, maybe it's Dakota Watson playing on the other side. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. But I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go really hard after the guy from Virginia Tech to be one of the linebackers, and I'm pretty sure if I was a betting man, that's the linebacker they're going to go after.
Tremaine Edmonds, yeah. All of our drafts already have him there. All right, okay. Michael Gami says, do we consider Bell, Lewis, or do we ride with Matt? I guess that was pretty much a running back question again. Okay, you know what I want to know though, because this is really eating me up. Sapolo says, should we make a push for Aqib Talib?
Yes. If he is a cap casualty with the Broncos, which everything leaning towards that way is going to happen. I think that they're going to clear out some room because they're going to go hard probably for Cousins. It's going to be a bidding war between Denver and the Jets, and who knows? Minnesota could get in that mix with Cousins.
True.
So they're going to clear some cap room, and I'm pretty sure that Talib is probably going to be one of those guys. And that's again when I come in, I'm going to get Harry Edwards to see where his mind is at, but he definitely has the talent. I mean, the guy's been an All-Pro for the last 6 years. So why wouldn't you want a guy who makes a difference for a team that's on the up and coming? We are going to go as far as our defense is going to take us because I don't see a problem with our offense. The only thing I see with our offense is can we solidify the offensive line? After that, I'm thinking, can the defense take us to that next level? And that's where we have to think. We have to think very, very importantly about what's going on, where our future is, and the defense. You have to corner. Like I said, corner is the number one priority right now. You got to bring in the best guy available that's willing to do the job.
Okay, but remember, you're definitely gonna need Harry Edwards, and I think Harry's gonna have to have a guest house. I'm looking at this team like something like you've okayed now. Martavius Bryant, adding Aqib Talib, Reuben Foster's already having his problems. Didn't we have another problem child here? Is that 3? I know of for sure. Wasn't there a 4th one involved that we were talking about and adding to the 49? I was thinking, this is going to be a big problem. But Harry Edwards, I say he needs a guest house.
We're talking about Des Bryant.
Yo, God, there you go. Whoa. So anyway, okay, Greg Kennedy wants to know what is the positions that we need to address the most in free agency in order to make it to the playoffs. And of course, it's kind of redundant what we just mentioned, but go ahead, you can repeat it again.
Oh, as far as going far in the playoffs?
Like getting into the playoffs, I think, in general.
Well, I think that we're going to be fine offensively. I think that it's all going to come down to the offensive line and how they hold up. I want to challenge the offensive line to be more of a running, zone blocking runs, running type of offensive line where they proved that they were pretty good at blocking for Jimmy G. I want to see them open more holes for the running backs. So that's the challenge I have. I mean, I want to see them be able to open more holes for the running backs. And then I want to see the defense be able to play a lot of man coverage so we can get that pass rush going, so we can be a top 5 defense. And I think that we have the system to a system that we can do that in. It's just got to have the right. For one, we have to have the right corner to be able to get that done, and we have to get the guy who's going to be able to put the pressure on the quarterback. So if we can solidify those two main concerns that we have as far as corner and edge rusher, I think we'll be fine. I think that we have the capability to be top 5 defense.
All right. Now, Big Ray Hawaii says, "What do you make? Would you make a trade to get Josh Gordon?"
Yes, I would.
What would you give up?
I think right now Cleveland's. But see, I don't know if Cleveland's ready to give up on him now because
from
everything I'm seeing is, they're going to get a quarterback in there that's going to be able to go for and give him an opportunity to show off what he has. So I can tell you, I don't know if they're ready to give up on him just yet. But who is willing to take that sacrifice to go after him? Because you would have to have a lot of things in his contract to be able to get out of his contract besides what the NFL is going to do.
Yeah.
I would probably. That's a tough question. I probably would have to pass on that one.
Call Harry Edwards. You know what? The thing is, in California, and a lot of people have already said it. It's been said to me. It's become cliche. Do you bring Josh Gordon to California, where his vice is some of the best in the world?
Yeah, he could get some of the best stuff here. So it's definitely not the ideal situation for a guy like that to, I mean, let's go back to the Aldon Smith era, where no matter what they did, they tried to find a way to make it happen and be able to put people around him. And after Justin Smith left, it was kind of just very difficult for them to keep him in line. So I would say I have to pass.
All right.
I mean, because that's a little bit deeper situation that we can probably deal with.
There you go. And here's another one. Would you bring in Julius Peppers for a year? Because Dolan, I believe, he thinks he would be a bargain and still very effective pass rusher. God,
I would love to have Julius Peppers, but he's already put on record he's only going to play for the Carolina Panthers. So
I did read
he's already put that out there.
Yeah. All right. And also, we just got to done. Greg Kennedy said, should we consider trading Josh Garnett? You know what? Josh is only this is his third season. I think this is Josh Garnett's third year.
No, it's going to be his second season. He was a rookie last year.
No, coming up is his third year
right now.
No, coming up is his third year. Jimmy G and not Jimmy G, but I'm seeing that was didn't Tom Sula pull him? They drafted up into the first round to attain Garnett.
No, that was last year.
Last year?
Yeah, that was last year.
Okay.
No, maybe you're right.
Yeah. I know. Last year we traded up to get Reuben Foster.
Right.
Yeah. No, Chip Kelly did not grab Garnett. No.
Right. You're right. He was the 25th pick in the first round.
Yeah. So therefore, so we're going into his third season because he came out of his rookie year having not done very well. And the last year they had expectations for him. Then he hurt his knee and something else happened. So they got him on Jenny Craig diet and got him working out like a crazy man. And he's going his third year now. So can you trade? You can trade rookies now, can't you? Can you? Is there any mandate against that?
No, I mean, this is going to be the first year that the NFL is going to let you trade your compensatory picks. So if you're like, I think the Raiders have 4 compensatory picks, you can actually trade those picks starting this year. So there's going to be a lot of trading back and forth, probably more than ever in this NFL draft. So it's going to be a lot of changes. A lot of changes.
Looking forward to this. All right. And okay, now there's a little argument about as to whether or not. Okay, Jimmy T, Eric Armstead. Okay, you know what? And last year, I just want to run this by a few people. Last year, what do we do in the first round? Eric Armstead is in his he's going into his 4th season. So there can be no comparison there. We'll settle this. We'll get that one straight a little later. Okay. Because people are going saying in the chat, no, it was last year. Chip Kelly, who did we get in the first round last year with Chip Kelly?
First round, that's Joshua Garnett when Chip Kelly was here.
Okay, well, so we got Buckner in the first round. Did we trade back up into the first round last year?
Yeah, we traded from the second round into the first round to get Garnett.
All right. I'll stand corrected on that. All right. So he's in a but he missed. Okay, but it's still. But he missed this year, so we're going into his 3rd year. Yeah, I think that's what I said. Okay, anyway. Yeah, you're going into his 3rd year. Okay. So anyway, yeah. Let's go to that ferocious film again. Should you target Brian Cushing since the Reuben Foster? That's really funny. Should you target Brian Cushing since the Reuben Foster situation is going down? There you go. You know, Brian over in Texas. Yeah, what do you think?
You mean Brian Cushing?
Yeah.
Brian Cushing already told everybody he retired. I mean, he was a cap casualty, and the next day after he was let go, he just said he retired. So unless you probably give that guy a lot of money, he's not coming back. And for one, why are you going to try to offer him some money when he can't even pass the PED test?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's on multiple. He's lost on multiple PED tests. So
yeah.
He can't stay clean. So I wouldn't even take it a step further on that.
Yeah, because you know what? Apparently he can't play or doesn't have any faith in himself to play unless he does some kind of enhancement. So yeah, I would stay away from Cushing, and he did the right thing by retiring. I like this one. Gohard wants to know: give me one sleeper that will come out of the practice squad or injury reserve next season. I know who I think, but what do you think?
Joe Williams.
Oh, I didn't think about Joe though. Yay, cool. What makes you think Joe is gonna snap out of that coma and come on and play some good football?
Well, all right. He's had a year to actually observe what's going on the field, you know, and he knows that if Carlos Hyde is not there, he has an opportunity to shine. Because, I mean, it's going to be, if they don't bring anybody into camp, you know, to challenge him or Breida, except for another rookie, so to speak, if you don't bring a veteran like maybe Ivory or a player like that magnitude, then he knows that he has the opportunity to win a job and at least maybe be the second string running back. So let's see when the competition comes out, because I think that they want him to be in the mix.
Oh, so badly.
So badly.
Yeah, they really do.
I mean, I know Shanahan is the one that pushed Lynch to actually draft that kid.
Him and Bobby Turner got together on that one.
Right. So Shanahan wants to see, what can he do? What can he prove on the field? So there's going to be every opportunity to get him involved in the offense.
Absolutely. And you know what? I got to believe, had he made it last year, I think they may have let Carlos go last year. Chancellor James for me, Gohard. I really think Chancellor James is going to make an impact in that secondary as far as safeties goes. Just something about him. I got to feel he's the guy. He's got more dog in him than a couple of guys on the team. They had to calm him down last year because he was playing too hard. How many times you hear that about a kid? Then he got hurt, of course, in that end of the season. Are there any pass rushers? The only are there any pass rushers we're overlooking in free agency? That's what I want to know because I keep feeling like that's it. That's all that's available. But I guess, yeah.
There's not a very big class of impact players that are out there. To be honest with you, I would you either would have to probably trade for a player like you said. You run a Quinn, a player like that. You would have to trade for a player like that. DeMarcus Lawrence, you would have to trade for a player like that. Mm-hmm. What everybody's going to do, they're going to try to find that diamond in the rough in the draft. And there are some players out there in the draft that, that can come in and maybe, over amount of time can prove their worth of being an impact player. So there's possibility that, the draft is going to be where all these players come from.
Mm-hmm. And there's going to be there's going to be a lot of drama between now because a lot of people aren't signing players or not talking to them. And the media people are trying not to go wild with rumors yet because we heard about the guys everybody talks about like Ziggy and Lawrence and all these guys. But there's going to be some names all of a sudden people say, oh, no, they didn't. Rams going to have oh, no, they didn't moments all over the place. So let's get one more question because we got almost time to close. Robert Johnson, oh, here we go. Would you, Mr. GM, trade for AJ? I will kill that boy from Jacksonville Green.
Trade who?
AJ Green. Would you trade for AJ Green? I was talking about that.
Oh, you know what? AJ Green is a talent. Yeah. But are the Bengals willing to do that? I mean, I think what's going to happen is, who knows, Dalton is their quarterback. They might go out and make a run for somebody else to throw the ball to AJ Green. So I don't see them giving up on AJ Green. I mean, it'd be nice. It would definitely be some kind of 49er fantasy if you could get a player like that. But I don't think that Cincinnati would be willing to give up on a talent like that.
Cool, but
I don't see that.
Cincinnati looks like they're getting ready to do some remodeling. I mean, if they're talking about getting rid of A.J. McCarron, who in the world is going to quarterback if they get rid of A.J. McCarron? Are they getting ready to go ahead and close shop and rebuild that thing?
Yeah, I mean, Dalton is not even assured to. I mean, he's overpaid, I think, for what he does, and I can't believe Marvin Lewis has been there for 15 years. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Only won one playoff game.
See,
so there's they need a total overhaul.
Yeah.
A total overhaul of the whole franchise, because they've had talent for so many years. They just never put it all at one time and put it all together.
Too many knuckleheads. Too many knuckleheads.
Yeah.
That game they lost to Steelers, I would have gotten rid of every last one of them dudes. Especially, y'all ain't here to win no games, man. If you want to thug and carry on, you can do that on somebody else's club. And don't get crazy because I got my boy standing behind me. He's carrying a revolver. Them dudes, man, they don't want to play no football. You can't contain yourself any more than that and you'd lose the game. All right. Tell you what, cool. Hey, go in and vote for today's GM Koolwhips. Dang cool. We're gonna that's just voting like. Oh, hey, by the way, I don't know. Sahel ain't here today. He's not on the phone yet. He was here earlier. But don't forget to hit them likes. Hit them likes, please. Cool, man. We gotta scream on out of here, man. You ready for that?
Yeah, my phone is actually going to die pretty soon.
Okay, so
yeah.
I'm going to count to three, man. Let's give it a holler, man. 1, 2, 3. Niners!